Hi everyone. Just wanted to start a short series about learner anxiety because it's something that every instructor sees, but very few of us are actually taught to understand. Uh, we're trained to teach junctions, we're trained to teach maneuvers, but nobody really trains us how to teach a human being who's sitting next to us and has a brain that's just decided it's under threat. So even though nothing dangerous is actually happening, um, it just feels threatened. And here's the key thing. Most learner anxiety is not caused by traffic, roundabouts, or difficult roads. In fact, it's often the learner isn't scared of driving at all. What they're actually scared of is what driving means to them. You've probably all had that learner, that they're polite, they listen, uh, they want to do well. They grip the wheel really tightly. They overthink every single instruction. They apologize all the time. They panic at simple things like approaching a parked car. And you find yourself thinking, there's nothing happening. So why are they so anxious? What's going on? So you move them onto quieter roads. You simplify things a little bit. You reassure more. And yet that anxiety just doesn't change. That's because what we're doing is sort of treating the road. The problem isn't on the road. The problem's in the interpretation. Um, Learners rarely experience anxiety because the situation is dangerous. They're experiencing anxiety because their brain believes they're being evaluated, not by you, but by themselves. Before the learner even gets into the car, they have their story in their head, how things should look. I should be good at this. I don't want to look stupid. My parents are paying for this. Everyone else seems to be able to manage. If I can't do this, what does that say about me? So when they stall, it isn't just a stall. It becomes evidence. Evidence that they think they're failing. And the brain reacts to social failure almost the same way it reacts to physical danger. So the heart rate rises, the breathing changes, the muscle tension increases, thinking and focus narrows. And then something really important happens. Their brain moves from a learning state into a threat state. And when we're in a threat state, we don't prioritize learning, we just prioritize protection. So instead of thinking, what should I observe? What should I look for? The brain just says, don't get it wrong, don't get it wrong. And this is why anxious learners sometimes rush that decision. They forget the mirrors, they stall repeatedly, they stop listening to instructions, or they just freeze completely. So often what we think, though, is they need more explanation, but explanation just actually increases the cognitive load, and the cognitive load increases the anxiety. So the more we try to help, the more overwhelmed they become, and then often your learner is not reacting to the road. They're just reacting to the perceived judgment. They're not scared of the car. Not, they're scared of failing while being watched. This is actually a really human response. We all do it because driving lessons combine three really, really powerful psychological triggers. One, being evaluated. Two, making mistakes publicly. And three, a lack of control. That's almost a recipe, perfect recipe for anxiety. So the learner's behavior isn't irrational, it's just protective. You can't coach a skill until you first sort of reduce that perceived threat. So before observation comes safety, before technique comes emotional regulation. The most powerful thing you can say to an anxious learner is, you're allowed to get things wrong here. This is practice, it's not performance. This is where you learn how to do it. And that single sort of statement or sentence just changes the meaning of the lesson. So the learner stops trying to prove themselves and just allows themselves to learn. So if you have a learner who seems a bit anxious for no reason, remember, you're not teaching a steering wheel and pedals. You're teaching a person, and that person is managing self-belief, pressure, identity. Their difficulty isn't always about the driving. It's often about what they think mistakes say about them. So next time you got that learner that's feeling that anxious, those anxious feelings, it's a conversation that we need to have. But also, there is another conversation that we can get drawn into very, very easy. And it can feel very, very innocent when it happens. But this can have a massive effect also on how they feel. And that is, how many lessons will I need? It's innocent, but it quietly creates pressure even before the car is moved. That's what I want to talk next time, how we handle that question. Okay.